Hello, YouTube. It's been a while. There's been a pretty big victory for the sex workers' rights advocates, real victims of sex trafficking and basic honesty. And that is that the bogus figure 100,000 to 300,000 children and teens are trafficked in the United States every year figure has been debunked. And I mean debunked in a big way. The Village Voice came out with an article basically exposing that figure for what it is and sticking it to Ashton Kutcher in the process, which is always fun to watch. That figure came from a study from Richard Estes and Neil Weiner from the University of Pennsylvania that was never peer-reviewed and never published. And they didn't even quote that study right. What the study said was that there were 100,000 to 300,000 at-risk children and teens in the United States. So you might be asking, what does at-risk mean? At-risk, according to Estes and Weiner, means kids that are runaways, including the 80% of runaways that come home within a week, throwaway kids, transgendered kids, kids living along the northern and southern borders of the United States, and outsiders. Yeah. And the Village Voice actually counted I have the links in the low bar. The Village Voice actually got what evidence they had of child prosecutions and arrests, child prostitution arrests, and when they added it up and did the estimations and all their math, you can read it for yourself, it came out to about 827 children a year. Now, I know what you're going to say. Of course, they don't catch all of them. No. But that being the only concrete figure we have in the United States does not justify an overestimation of 300,000 children. So the most common sort of apologetics that's played for this is, coming from people basically saying, what do the numbers matter? Which, FW touched on this, and she touched on one aspect of why the numbers matter, but basically they're saying, what do the numbers matter? What do they matter? What do they matter? If there's one child, it's one child too many. What do they matter? Well, I'm going to offer my 2 cents as to some other reasons why it matters. One, this creating of a moral panic is being used to silence sex workers and stigmatize sex workers and deny us our rights. When we debunk all of their arguments, the only thing that antis who oppose us really have to fall back on is, oh, well, it leads to sex trafficking. Well, sorry, bitch, it's been debunked. 2, and I guess this is not really a reason why they matter, but, think about this. Think about if your significant other came home and said, honey, I've been lying to you all this time. I've been lying to you all this time, and it's a really, really big lie. And it's a big lie that has cost us a lot of money. That has gone to stuff that I told you didn't tell you it was going to. But I lied to you for a good reason. Would that fly with you? I don't think so. These people's argument is basically, it's okay if you lie to us as long as you do it for a good reason. Sorry, ain't buying it. 3, a very important reason, if you look at I think it is the second to the last page. I'll check in a second. They say here in the Village Voice article, Seattle is one of the few places in the nation with a shelter devoted to underage prostitutes. Despite the obvious need, the city manages the program without federal funding. These children as victims need more trauma recovery services, says Melinda Giovengo, who, sorry if I said that wrong, who, as executive director of Seattle's Youth Care, administers the Bridge program, a residential center for teen prostitutes. There is evidence that a dedicated residential program and wraparound mental health, chemical dependency, and educational and vocational services provided by well-trained specialists both on site and in the community can help young victims of commercial sexual exploitation in breaking free from the track. Although Congress has spent millions of tax-granted money to fight human trafficking, it has yet to spend a penny to shelter and counsel those boys and girls in America who are, in fact, underage prostitutes. Now, okay, why is this one place in the country, one of the few places, if not the only, and by the way, that happens to be on page 5, why is it that they have to go without funding? They're actually doing what they're saying they want to do, but they don't get no government funding. Why? If I were an anti, that would piss me off. But just like FeministWhore exposed in her video about Colorado, where they said they were going to do something like the Swedish model and get the money they got from the clients of sex workers and use that to help women, and it's not really helping the women, they're really just giving that to the police. That doesn't piss off the antis either. So my only assumption can be that they don't really care. And all their moral arguments and using the child argument and the appeal to emotion is really just bullshittery. Because if I were an anti and I found out that Colorado was saying they were embracing the Swedish model to help prostitutes, but they were giving the money to cops, I would be pissed. If I were an anti and I found out that millions of dollars was going to fund organizations that aren't actually helping teen prostitutes, and some of the few places in the country that are actually helping prostitutes are not getting funding, I would be pissed. But they're not pissed now, are they? Are they? Also, and this is something that I haven't really heard anyone pick up on or say at all, even FeministWhore. But what sort of message do you think it sends to someone considering taking someone's child and sexually exploiting them for monetary gain? What sort of message do you think it sends them to hear that 300,000 children in the United States are trafficked every year? It makes it seem like it's a low-risk crime. It makes it seem like it's a crime that people do and get away with all the time. And I don't think that's a good message to be sending to people that might have those kind of notions. Do you? If I were someone considering taking somebody's child and sexually exploiting them for monetary gain, I would be much more afraid of hearing that there are 827 teen prostitutes that are found or busted every year, and the arrests in connection with those findings are, pretty high percentage. That would deter me more than hearing that 300,000 children get trafficked in the U.S. all the time. But that's just my reasoning. As I told you about the Colorado thing and the real place that helps traffic teens can't get no funding thing, I really don't believe that antis care. Because if they did, These would be the sorts of things that would concern them. And I haven't heard not one of them express any concern. So yeah, I don't buy it anymore. I haven't bought it. But anyone who is in doubt, if you still buy it, I have a bridge to sell you. There will be relevant links in the low bar. Thank you for watching.